Are you wanting to build your mileage, or are you wondering how it is that people can run 100 kilometers every week? Well, over the last 10 years, I've been building my mileage, and I now run over 100 kilometers each and every single week. So today, I'm going to show you how you can build your mileage and how it's helped me to run a 5K in 15:19 and a 10K in 31:43 seconds. So before we dive into the training plan, let's start with me. My last 4 PBs have all come in with the last 12 months. Now there's absolutely no coincidence why that's happened. It's all due to one thing. That is my weekly training structure. So yes, I do run 100 kilometers each and every week, but that's not the reason why I run these times. The reason is the weekly training structure. So how this video is going to work, I'm going to share with you my training structure. I'm going to take you on each and every single day of training that I do. I'm going to share it with you, and hopefully that's going to give you some structure for your training. Without further ado, let's start on the first day. Is a Monday, right? No, actually it's not. It's Tuesday for me. Tuesday is my first day of the week. Why? Good question. Tuesday for me is always the biggest, the nastiest, the tastiest session of the week. Speed and volume. Two things together, speed and volume. I call this the tempo session for a couple of reasons. One, my running club's called Western Tempo, and two, because you do an awful lot of tempo running. So let's break this tempo session down. On the screen are the types of runs that I do in these tempo sessions. So in these sessions, I tend to do a lot of tempo work or 10K pace work. So the really fast stuff, that'll come later in the week. But this tempo session is all about tempo reps and 10K pace. So that's very different to what I do on a Friday, which I'll explain to you shortly. But my sessions on a Tuesday tend to be longer duration, and they'll be at a slower pace than my Friday session. The specific purpose of this session is to help me feel comfortable with my race pace effort. I don't want to be going above it, I don't want to be going below it. I want to hit my race pace effort. So come race day, guess what? I feel comfortable. One thing I did forget to mention, on my Tuesday night sessions, I run to and I run from my sessions. It's 5K each way, so that overall on Tuesday night, sometimes I run anywhere between 22 to 30 kilometers. So let's move on to Wednesday. As you can imagine, on a Wednesday, I feel pretty tired, so it wouldn't be sensible to do a tough workout. So Wednesday, I do an easy run or an easy long run. Simple. Usually on a Wednesday, I will clock up around 15 to 18 kilometers. Now these runs, I take my headphones, I take it easy, and I sometimes run with friends. But the key thing with these sessions is this is day one after a tough session. Keep it light, keep it easy, an hour, more than enough. Now I'm a massive advocate for active recovery. So instead of taking rest, I'll choose to run easy. And I really do mean easy. I'm almost running in my recovery mode. I can almost have a full conversation without taking any extra breaths. Run easy on my easy days, hard on my hard days. So that brings me nicely to Thursday. Thursday, a little bit of twist. I do a longer easy run on Thursday with about 10 to 15 minutes of either tempo work or slightly faster than tempo work. I'll tend to do between 16 to 18 kilometers, of which 10 to 15 minutes will be at either a tempo or slightly faster. Those tempo reps might be in 1K blocks, they might be in 5-minute blocks. The key thing is here is I'm 2 days after a really tough session. So I'm not absolutely hammering myself straight away on the following day, but I'm giving myself that 48 hours of time to recover just so I can do a little bit of faster work. I'm not going all out, but I'm certainly working harder than an easier effort. Now this brings me nicely into my Friday session. It's my hardest session by a mile. Now I like the longer tempo efforts on a Tuesday night. I can hit rhythm and it feels comfortable, but let's face it, being comfortable gets you nowhere. The Friday session is at the track, and my word, we work so hard. The purpose of the Friday session is to run way faster than race pace, to work way harder than what we're doing in a race, but also so when it comes to racing, it's a lot easier. A typical track session for me on a Friday would be 800 times 6, 5 by 1K, 10 by 200 meters, but nevertheless, it's always working way above a race pace, and my heart rate is through the roof. Now, sometimes these sessions might only be 5 or 6K volume, but I'll always make sure I do a little bits before and a little bit after. So my mileage for these sessions tends to be around 12 to 15K. Now that brings me nicely onto Saturday. Saturday is the most enjoyable run of the week. Not only am I not working, but I go up the hills. God, I love the hills. You've heard me talk about the hills if you've seen this channel all the time. You're probably really bored of me by now, but Saturday is the time when I go up the hill. I'm very lucky where I live in Cheltenham, there's a lot of hills nearby, and I run straight from my house, straight up to the top of the hill, do some trails around there, and come straight home again. So what are hills and what the hill sort of running I'm doing? Well, normally on this one, I'll do longer, slower reps. I'll go from here, I'll climb all the way up to the top, which takes about 45 minutes, and then I'll run home, which is probably another 30 minutes from there. So all in all, about an hour and 25 minutes. That's not correct. An hour and 15 minutes. Plus I might do a little bit more, so normally it's about an hour and a half of running on a Saturday, something like that. You get the drift. So I do hills on a Saturday. Hills pay the bills. If you don't know anything about hills, watch some of my previous videos. I'll put a link on here, some tips in there all about hills and how you can improve your running. But usually about 20k of volume on a Saturday. So we're here already, last run of the week, Sunday, bang. Okay, what do we do on a Sunday? Sunday is always a long run, and it's normally always with the boys, and it is quali. Sunday long run is pretty simple. Don't do anything silly. It's normally 90 minutes to 2 hours of pretty steady state, easy running, whatever you want to call it, zone 2. Around about 420 to 425 per K pace. Very simple, very easy, with the boys, load of chatter, load of nonsense, job done, coffee after, bosh, that's in the week. Those are the runs that I do every single week. Okay. Let's talk about structure. What you'll notice is I don't run hard back-to-back days. So I run hard on a Tuesday, a little bit harder on a Thursday, not too much, very hard on a Friday, and that's it. The main ones being Tuesday and a Friday, and there's a maximum amount of time in between those two runs filled with rest so I can recover between each individual hard session. Benefit of doing that is I'm more fresh for the sessions and it just makes it more mentally easy. If you're running hard every single time you run, you're gonna be knackered, you're not gonna enjoy it, and you're probably gonna get injured. Okay, so let's slow things down a second. If you're looking to implement some form of weekly structure, I don't recommend doing 100 kilometers straight off the bat. Try and do these few steps before you add mileage. So start by thinking when your 2 toughest sessions will be and space them sensibly in terms of enough rest in between. For me, Tuesday is a team session. That's high volume and a lot of speed work. Friday is when I run really fast at the track. So I then get 72 hours off in between those 2 runs. They're positioned evenly in the week, and it gives me enough time to rest and recover. I always do a long run on a Sunday, and then around that, all I basically do is a lot of slow, easy running. I also mentioned I take a rest day on a Monday. Sometimes I do some mobility and gym work, but always take a rest day. That is crucial. So if you are looking to start your own program and design your own structure, Tuesday or whatever day works for you, do a hard session and then take at least 2, if not 3 days off before your next hard session, and try and get 1 long run in a week. Around that, fill it with loads of easy running, do your strength, make sure you warm up, job's a good one. I promise you, that is as simple as running can get. If you can add some hills in, brilliant. Other than that, it's pretty simple, and that is the structure that you're gonna need to succeed. Obviously, I didn't just do 100K in my first week of running. It has taken me a long time to get there, and I can assure you my easy pace now, it's only got faster and improved because of the amount of training that I've done over a period of time. My body's got used to being able to run a certain amount of miles, therefore I've been able to slowly add mileage. If you are looking to add mileage, please be careful when you do it. There is a golden rule that you should not add more than 10% each week. I think that's a load of nonsense. I think it should be no more than 10% every other month, to be honest with you, if you're doing it right. Your body takes a long time to adjust to changes. Keep it low key, try and implement the structure before you explode the amount of miles that you do in a week. That's my weekly structure, and that's how I do things. That's not gonna be right for everyone. I'm not a qualified coach. Please don't necessarily take what I say as the absolute gospel, but I've done this game for a little bit of time now, and I do understand certain principles within running. Any questions, please let me know. Always happy to help. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Right on time for the parties and Barbies. Strolling with a chunk of green like a golf swing.